Hey guys, welcome back to Combat Corner. My name is Jackson,
My name's Kobe.
and today we are going to be breaking down a bit of a comparison between UFC 300 and UFC 299.
A lot of debate online that 299 should be 300, because it's stacked. And 300, bit disappointing so far.
It's yet to live up to the hype.
300. That's three of them.
We do have some news about our drink segments going forward, but we will discuss that in a minute with you.
We shall.
Roll the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Corner.
Right, guys, some news. As we discussed last week, we reviewed a 0% beer. We quickly found out that there's not many of those. Going forward, considering Kobe is a Sobe, we will be continuing our drink reviews. However, they will be on the non-alcoholic side. We've retired our alcoholic segment up into the on the wall of shame.
Jack Phillips, you won.
Yeah,
You won.
You won the competition. You never entered.
You're always going to be at the very top of our list. So by the time we're at 2 million subscribers, you can start selling that shit. And we'll sponsor you. But we want to cut.
Today we are reviewing Mogu Mogu blackcurrant flavored drink
Mogu Mogu
with Nata de Coco.
These lumps are going to get to me. These are kind of like those boba lumps. Are they boba lumps?
No.
Nata.
Like little bits of fruit, aren't they?
Are they?
I don't know.
This shit's fucked up, man.
It's just wrong. I don't want to have to eat my drink.
No, it's similar to the boba thing. Boba. When we had the boba tea.
The
it was like
gong cha.
Gong cha.
At least I didn't have to show someone how to make this. I didn't have to show
I just had one of those lumps.
Job.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's fucking interesting. Like all these drinks are now coming out with like food in them. Like, can't I just have a drink and then have food? No?
Or you could just put it all in a blender.
Yeah.
Or your food in a blender and live life off shakes.
I know someone who does that.
Yeah, same. He doesn't like us talking about him though.
That's right. Wait, we're talking about him at the start.
He does like lime milk though. I did confirm that. That was a conspiracy we worked up on one of the previous episodes, but I have confirmed it now. Big lime milk fan.
So we're starting a petition. We're going to talk about Aiden every single episode until he starts listening to every episode.
Yeah.
So Aiden, this is our little mention of you. You know what? If you like lime milk though, like we figured out, blend up a prime with some milk.
There you
lime
go, mate.
prime, just a little bit, not all of it. Maybe like a cup of milk and like a, third of.
You'll figure it out.
Give that a go. Yeah, this has been a weird intro. We've not really talked about much, have we? Honestly, there's not much to talk about in the world of MMA, so we're going to try our best to entertain you guys for the next hour or so.
Especially when you're not qualified to talk about MMA.
No, we're not qualified. Someone pointed that out because we're not professional fighters. Apparently, you have to be a professional fighter. Yeah, we've been guilty of reading comments.
Yeah, they're in my head now, man.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
It is fun.
I mean, we don't get too much hate for it to be like depressing. Like you're always going to get hate no matter how big you are.
Yeah.
But once we do gain a bit of a following, we're probably going to get a lot of hate.
Yeah,
and then I'm just going to stop.
We're very outspoken about the fact we have no idea, like about half of what we're talking about. We're giving it a good crack.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're the casuals.
We're not.
No,
we're not that casual.
We're definitely not casual. I think we've got pretty decent knowledge, especially for our like demographic within New Zealand. I think we've got a pretty decent knowledge of the sport of MMA, and we're just good guys. We're just great people with great chat. So thank you for letting us know, dickhead. Frick. Nah, I'm just kidding. He's probably not going to see this part anyways. But this is all water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. There's no UFC card this weekend. There's been a few announcements through the week, bit of drama. Jon Anik has said some things. Tom Aspinall, Kayla Harrison coming to the UFC. Super exciting. Or is it?
I mean, it's exciting in the fact that it's exactly what that division needed.
Yeah.
And like we spoke about a little bit earlier, it's exactly what the UFC needed in terms of bringing another star to the division.
Yeah, it's like it's a smart move.
Yeah. I mean, we've got Pena waiting in the wings there. Whether or not she has enough star power in terms of going forward, like now that there's no Amanda Nunes there to kind of cut her down.
She's a lot more entertaining than like Pennington or Bruno Silva.
Yeah.
Whether she's an actual full-fledged star like Nunes was, that's debatable.
That's yet to be uncovered.
Correct. And for anyone who doesn't know who Kayla Harrison is, just to start, she has been in the PFL. She had a relatively lengthy career. She's a gold medalist, 2-time gold medalist in judo at the Olympics. So she's pretty credentialed, pretty well credentialed. Big girl. She usually fights at 145, but she will be coming to the UFC and fighting in the 135 division. There's a bit of drama around whether she'll be able to make 135. I think that's been a struggle for her in her career to date. But yeah, she's had a relatively lengthy career. She was kind of proposed to potentially fight Chris Cyborg at one point, but I think she lost the fight and that kind of held her back. She's had a pretty strong career. She's obviously very tough, great grappling, very strong. And she now comes into the UFC, signed by the UFC. She'll be fighting Holly Holm, 42-year-old Holly Holm, 42-year-old Holly Holm at UFC 300. So this is, this was announced. This is one of the biggest talking points of the week.
There haven't been many talking points of this week.
No, there really haven't.
Like I just spoke to you about again before, one of the main stories in the MMA news thing that I keep up with every day yesterday was that Hamzat and Islam had lunch together.
Yeah.
Which just shows you how quiet things have been.
Yeah,
like,
really.
Normally there's some Twitter war going on or something, but no.
Even like on Twitter, people have been nice. Like Aspinall's been like, look, I understand. It's okay. Yeah. I want to see the fight, Miocic versus Jones. I'll step back. Just completely, the drama's gone there now.
He has kind of said a version of that a few weeks ago.
He's such a legend. I love that guy.
Tom
Aspinall, yeah. What a G.
Yeah, he is a G, but he does keep just kind of saying he's going to drop it and then bringing it up again.
Did you see the tweets from him this week?
About, yeah. I saw those, but he has kind of spoken on that before and said like, all right, I'll back out of it. And then, brings it up again.
I think, no, it's good. It's good to hear from Tom because he's come to the point where he's like, look, I'm the interim champ. I really want to fight the champ. I'm gonna campaign for it. And then he's realized, you know what? It isn't gonna happen. He's not gonna be fighting for the belt next. Miocic is gonna happen versus Jones. And Espinal said, you know what? I'm pretty excited for that fight. Apparently, we'll get into that later, but yeah. So there's not been much going on. We will talk about Kayla Harrison and Holly Holm first. Like, what are your opinions on this? Do you think it suits 300?
I mean, yeah, I think there's a place for it on 300. It's obviously not a main event or
early
a co-main.
prelims.
It could be somewhere in the prelims if I was making the fight.
It is on the prelims.
Yeah, well, there you go. So yeah, I think that's the perfect spot for it. I think if it was anywhere further up, then yeah, there'd probably be a bit to say about it. Because, yeah, we are just feeding this, like, veteran, like, to this young up-and-coming, like...
Yeah, there's 10 years difference in their age.
Yeah, so, like, well, she's not that young, but, like, she has an established career, and it's her first fight in the UFC, where she's obviously going to want to come in and make a statement right off the bat so she can most likely just step right in there against the champ next.
Yep. Or maybe a fight against Pena. Or maybe Pena gets the title fight and then she fights the winner of that. Yeah. 100%.
So it's like, it's a pretty clear cut what's happening here.
It is.
And we see it happen quite a lot. Like we feed these, it happens quite a lot in the men's division as well. You get this this young up and coming dude who's like steamrolling everyone, and then it's kind of the older fighter who's normally the only one willing to take on the challenge.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think they're probably paying Holly Holm a decent chunk as well, as they probably have done for a while.
Hmm.
But, you know, if this was Holly Holm from 10 years ago when she knocked out Ronda Rousey, this would be a fucking sick fight. This would be super interesting, intriguing. But the Holly Holm who's lost to Amanda Nunes, I think Raquel Pennington, most recently Bruno Silva, which obviously got overturned, but still. Bisha Tate, 42 years old. The Holly Holm that doesn't really strike anymore. The Holly Holm that pushes people up against the fence and tries to hold them there. And obviously just doesn't quite have it anymore. The intrigue there, it's just not gonna... it just doesn't really live up to it. I mean, Kayla Harrison versus anyone else would have been... Well, I mean, Holly Holm's a big name.
That's the reason it's happening.
Yeah.
And I think that if it is going to be a good fight, it's going to have to be Kayla that brings the fight to Holly, because like you say, she is quite well known, Holly, that is, for pushing people up against the fence and having a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So I think this won't last very long. I think this will be very quick finish
From Kayla.
Yeah. And I think it will just come down to implementing her judo. Like, if you're pushing a two-time Olympic champ in judo up against the fence, it's probably not going to work out well.
She's going to flip you, and she's going to pin you.
Yeah.
But then saying that Kayla Harrison isn't known for a finishing ability, she usually grinds out a decision. So we might see another decision like we usually do in women's fights. Dominant decision, maybe. Like you say, though, I think Holly's just way past it now,
Yeah.
and it's just, you know.
If anyone's going to force her into having an exciting fight, it's probably going to be Kayla.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that, she's probably not going to want to engage in the clinch or like grappling with her. So we'll probably force her into striking, and that's what we want to see from her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what she's known for. You know, that's what she built a career off. She's literally she's in the Boxing Hall of Fame for women. Like, that's Dana was quick to point that out. Holly Holm. UFC 300. Holly Holm. Boxing Hall of Fame. 42 years old. Holly Holm. Yeah.
That's exciting stuff, mate.
It is what it is. It is what it is, isn't it?
That's right.
I mean, let's move on from there. It's just one of those fights that's like, yes, it's there, and I kind of get what they're trying to do, but you know, will it live up to any form of hype? I don't know.
Probably.
I hope so. You know.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
I'll be hopeful too.
While we're on the subject of UFC 300, shall we get into this next kind of segment, if you will? Let's bring up the card for a start.
All right.
Is there a way we can bring up both cards and kind of mirror them so we can
do that?
Like, if you guys aren't familiar, we still do not have a main event for UFC 300. We do, however, have one for UFC 299, which is Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera, which we've kind of briefly spoken about before. What do you think of this main event?
299.
Yes,
I think it's a good one. It's always exciting when Sean O'Malley fights, and that's there we go. So it doesn't have a main event. So yeah, for sure it's going to be interesting. We're going to figure a lot of stuff out. Obviously, Cheeto won the last fight, but it was an interesting win. But it was a win nonetheless. You know, It was one of those ones where he damaged his perennial nerve, and then his foot gave out, and then he got finished pretty quickly after that happened. But nonetheless, it was caused by what was it caused by? Cheeto checked a kick from Sean. And that damaged his perennial nerve, and then from there on, Sean just had nothing for him because his foot was fucked. And then obviously Cheeto got the finish. So a lot of unanswered questions in that fight. You know, if that injury doesn't occur, Sean was having some success at the start. He was piecing him up a little bit, but then Cheeto was, you know, walking him down, landing a couple punches, landing some kicks, checking his kicks pretty well. So they did look pretty equal at that point. and they've both come a long way since then. I think Sean's come further, and he's obviously younger, and he's obviously now got the confidence of being the champ, having beaten the champ. You know, that's big.
Well, having beaten potentially the bantamweight GOAT, a few people are calling Aljamain Sterling.
Potentially.
I mean, there's not many other people who have, like, the people that he beat in his tenure as champ. It was quite impressive.
It was.
Although it was, a fairly short reign, but we haven't seen that much of a long reign from any of the bantamweight champs of previous years.
The other consensus would be either Dominic Cruz or Henry Cejudo, but obviously Henry Cejudo got beat by Sterling. There's a lot of red flags over, or asterisks over some of his wins, like Henry coming back from a 3-year layoff. TJ Dillashaw was already injured.
Yeah.
Obviously the Piotr Jan first win, we all know about that. The second win was very close.
It was very close.
Very, very close. But
he did what he needed to do.
Yeah. I gave that to him, and I was chuffed by that. I'm glad that he got that win.
He played backpack.
Yeah, he did well. He did very well. And, Sean's just beaten that guy. Second round knockout, clean. Didn't get hit, didn't get taken down. Confidence super high. Very intriguing fight. I'm not going to give you a prediction because we'll do that on our 299 pre-show. But this card is stacked to the gills.
Yeah.
It really is. Dustin Poirier Saint Denis. That's the one that I'm really looking forward to on this card.
Yeah.
Obviously the title fight too, but
that is a banger waiting to happen.
This answers so many questions. Is Poirier still in it for the long run? Is Saint Denis going to be able to hang with one of the top guys who's been doing it for so long? Is Poirier's chin done now, or not done but weaker after?
I think we're going to see a brawl. I mean, the last time we saw a matchup like this for Dustin was when he fought Dan Hooker, and I think I've said that before. But I'll say it again. I'll double down on that. I think this, they both wanted a 5-round fight. They both really want a war, it seems. And Saint Denis has been quite outspoken about the fact that he sees himself as the new BMF. So I'm excited to see if he can go in there and hang with someone who.
It's the perfect way to show.
Yeah.
I really hope that Dustin still has it and he can. Dustin's a bit of an odd guy. Sometimes acts a bit weird, but he's a legend and he's a really good dude.
Glass houses.
He's a brawler.
Don't throw stones in glass houses. If you're going to start talking about weird guys.
I know.
Okay.
Look at him with his fucking.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. He's going to go in there and he's going to put his hands up and keep walking forward. Yeah. And I think that's the attitude from both of them, which is what is going to make it such an exciting fight.
100%. And they've both got insane grappling and striking. Saint Denis, Poirier, I really don't see getting submitted. He's shown some really good submission defense in his years. Just don't let him get you in a rear naked choke, Poirier, because you will die. Yeah. This is kryptonite.
Look, I don't think this is going to go to the ground personally.
Yeah, no,
I think this will be a
Neither do I.
Go out on your sword.
Maybe one of them will shoot if someone's starting to get the better of them on the feet. You never know.
Moving down a little bit more.
Chihugian and Barber, good fight. Macy Barber, they're obviously trying to build her up to be one of the next bantamweight stars. So, real interesting fight here if she can take out Chihugian, who is a former title challenger. A really good sign for her.
Mm-hmm. Blades versus Almeida. This is one that I'm really looking forward to.
This isn't in order, by the way.
Is it not?
No, it's not. This is just the whole card that's just randomly put together.
Oh.
Don't know why it's like that, but
it is odd.
Because this is on the prelims.
Huh.
I think this is too. Oh no, maybe not.
What are they doing?
But Blades Almeida, yeah. Great fight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
It's going to answer a bunch of questions.
Almeida coming up against someone who can finally wrestle.
Yeah.
So I think that will when we saw Almeida versus Lewis, it was pretty hard to watch. Like any time that he wanted to take the fight to the ground, he got it there. And I think Blades is going to give him a lot more problems
He won't be able to take Blades down like that.
No.
And does he have hands? If he can't take the guy down, can he stand on the feet and bang with someone, Because Blades has shown he's got knockout power. He's got good boxing. He's knocked out some legends.
Yep. And Almeida obviously being one of the smaller guys in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. Jack though.
Normally
Strong.
coming in quite a wee way underweight.
Mm.
But yeah, I agree with you. Very strong. We saw him just slam Derek Lewis a few times in that last fight, which was
not easy to do.
No, he's a big guy. But yeah, that again, another great fight.
Gamrot Dos Anjos, huge for that division. You know, can Dos Anjos poise another run towards the belt? Can Gamrot, you know, pose his dominance over someone else, a legend?
Yeah, Gamrot has had a bit of a rough run of things lately, but I think this could put him back on the right track. Well, hasn't he? Bring up Gamrot's. He got very close to fighting for a title there, and now he's kind of wee ways out of that picture, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he took the backup. He's won. He beat Jalen Turner and Fiziev. Fiziev was obviously a knee injury, and Turner was obviously a very, very close decision, kind of a boring one. And then obviously lost to Dariush, which was a crazy fight.
I don't know what I'm thinking about then.
You might be thinking of someone else, maybe. Maybe you're thinking of Dariush.
Maybe I just saw the Fiziev versus Gamrot fight announced and just assumed that Fiziev was going to dominate that, which most likely
probably would have happened
if he didn't have an injury.
I thought he was winning that fight up until he got injured. But anyway, this is going to answer a bunch of questions. Munoz versus Kyla Phillips, another banger at bantamweight. Laura Murphy, Karine Silva, TJ Varana versus that guy. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena, one we called. This is going to answer another set of questions that we need to, get answered.
Mm-hmm.
Yan versus Song Yadong on the fucking prelims.
Kevin Holland
versus Paige.
That fight right there is huge.
It's going to be a banger.
Yeah, this card is so deep, man.
Stack. Pereira's on the early prelims. I think that's because he missed weight.
Michelle Pereira.
Down. Yeah, Michelle Pereira.
That. But yeah, I think, look, this is a very deep card. But I think the main event is going to hopefully bring everything together for 300. So far, we've got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway sitting there as the main event on the UFC's website until they announce that big fight. But I think there's just as many exciting matchups on 300, if not possibly some more exciting matchups. I hear what you're saying. I hear a lot of people have been a bit upset about this card and the fact that it's not as big as 100 or 200 or whatever, but I think we're at quite a pivotal point in the UFC at the moment where we have seen a lot of the star power sucked out of these divisions lately, just due to Izzy taking a couple of losses in the last couple of years. That's not great for his stock, and it's obviously we don't have so many questions on whether or not he can keep this thing of dominance going, because he's obviously lost that. Volk taking those 2 losses to Islam. I mean, although they aren't in his natural weight class, it still kind of sucks a bit of star power out of him too. John Jones is obviously held up with injury. Yeah. There's a lot hanging over them at the moment, and I think the main event, whatever it may be, is going to be what pulls us together. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the undercard with not including the main event, it's probably about equal. Say, Poirier, Saint Denis, and Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, very similar intrigue in both of those fights. Maybe people are kind of riding off Holloway a little bit, and that's why people aren't as excited about this as they are about Saint Denis Poirier. They think that's going to be much closer. But I think that's an awesome fight.
Yeah,
obviously,
one that we've been wanting for a while.
And I think that maybe there's 2 things. First of all, people are expecting 300. We're going to have all the stars: Sean Strickland, Pereira, Izzy, John Jones, Miocic, all of the Volkanovski, O'Malley. Everyone should just be on this card, but obviously it doesn't work out like that. You've got to build cards outside of this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just not have any title fights for 3 years after you fucking put on 300. And
3 years.
Yeah. And the same kind of in the same kind of vein, I think the UFC, it isn't built on a model of stars now. the UFC is the star.
Yeah.
The organization is the star. People watch the UFC for the UFC now more than they used to watch the UFC for, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, John Jones. They're watching it for the event now.
It's unlike any other promotion in the world, because you see like boxing or even these other kind of MMA organizations, they market the main event as the show. It's like with boxing, say, like this last thing was Anthony Joshua and like Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker, and like all of these names were like the big thing, and then down the bottom it has your promotions that are running it. Even as cringy as it is with the YouTube boxing, it's all marketed as the people who are fighting instead of the organization. With the UFC, it's UFC 300. No one's saying it's Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway at UFC 300.
No,
I know that's not going to be the main event, but that's what we've got currently. So yeah, that's the difference. Is it's marketed as its own thing. Therefore, it holds so much more weight.
Yeah,
and I agree.
People watch the UFC for the UFC now.
Yeah,
that's exactly where they wanted to get to. Instead of having these stars that are carrying the organization carries the stars.
Yeah, and that way you don't need to pay everyone as much.
Yeah, that way you can really underpay every single fighter. It works. So I'm not disappointed by 300, or maybe in some ways I'm kind of disappointed by 300 because there's just some fights on there that I don't think necessarily should be taking up the spot that they're taking up.
What ones?
Like. Maybe Zhang Weili, Yan Xiaonan. I thought that would have been a great fight for, maybe 301 or maybe like a fight night in China. That would have been great for that. Mm-hmm. Super exciting. But saying that, it's probably going to be a banger, so I can't complain about that one. Maybe just you can't really see. I don't know.
There's so many good fights on this.
There's quite a few good fights. I'm really excited for this fight here.
Bobby Green, Jim Miller.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Look, I'm really looking forward to seeing Garbrandt get knocked out by Figgy.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. There is a lot of hype on this fight. I don't know why Bo Nickal's fighting Cody Brundage. He's going to run through that guy, but that's probably why he's fighting him. To be honest,
he's 5-0.
Yeah,
he's still fairly inexperienced.
But Cody Brundage is god awful.
I mean, look, it's the fight that he needs to take at this point in his career, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, if you throw him in there against Hamzat, which there has been some chat about,
I think he'd do all right.
I think he'd do all right, but look, Hamzat is carrying a lot more experience.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do. But no, I'm in agreement. I think, like, not including the main event, because obviously we don't have one for 300 yet. The undercards are equal in terms of, intrigue. Because that's what we watch it for. We're intrigued about what might happen as hardcores, We want to see, we want answers, We're not just there for a brawl. And we want to see if Max Holloway can do it against fucking Justin Gaethje,
There's a lot of fun fights on this too. Like, we've got Aljo moving up from bantamweight to fight his first time at featherweight. We've got, like I just said, Figgy, who has fought once at bantamweight before, but, still making his way through the rankings there.
And against Garbrandt, who's looked okay in his last few fights. Yes, he's not been against opponents like Figgy, but Figgy's a lot smaller, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and then obviously Max Holloway making a return to lightweight. The last time he did that was one of my all-time favorite fights against Dustin Poirier.
It's a great fight.
That was an incredible fight. So if he can bring that same kind of energy against Gaethje, and I know Gaethje does bring that kind of energy out of people, then that's going to be
yeah, exactly. I just hope that Max can have at 155. The one thing that I want from this fight to see, the one thing I'm like wishing for Max is, especially after the Korean Zombie fight, he got the KO with a one punch knockout, which is unlike Max,
and it's also unlike the Korean Zombie.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm hoping that Max has the power in his hands now. He's developed that power in his hands that Justin will feel and think, shit, I've got to respect this power. Because if he can't hurt Justin's going to be like, I can take this all night, and then he's going to start hurting Max a lot.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that in so many of Justin's fights.
Yeah.
Justin's fights. He just
the Tony fight.
The Tony fight, the Michael Johnson fight.
Yeah.
That is a banger.
He hurt him big time. Michael Johnson.
Yep. even the Dustin Poirier fight before, like it was obviously quite an early knockout, but up until then they were trading a fair bit too. And Dustin's quite well known to have some decent power in his hands.
But Justin looks like he's on form at the moment, man. In that last fight against Poirier, he was so quick, smooth, slick. Like, I kind of want him to beat Holloway so he actually gets to fight for the belt one more time because he's looking so good. Like, he's in the peak of his career right now. And yeah, 300. 299, 300. We're in for some good fucking nights fighting, guys.
It's just
quit your bitching.
Another example of the UFC stepping it up year after year.
Yeah,
I don't know how they keep this train going, but they manage.
Dana White.
They manage to do it every single year. It's just
100%,
100 times better than the last year.
No, it's insane. Basically, coming out of this, all I have to say is, guys, just stop worrying. It's going to be a good year. 300 is just a number, and it's a great card. So, you know, you can't have every single massive star on this card. It just doesn't work. 300 sells itself. There's going to be a main event announced soon. Can't wait for that. I want that to be announced like now, but it's going to be announced soon.
He said it was supposed to be announced this week, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm not sure. There must be some sort of hold up. Look, and the other thing is these stars that people are calling for to be on this card, they are most likely going to fight this year anyway. Okay, there is most likely going to be a whole card built around these guys. Like Sean O'Malley's a perfect example. Fighting on 299, he would have been a great name to have on 300 in terms of star power, in terms of like a pay-per-view draw. But as we see, 299 is a stacked card, and a lot of it is built around him.
Yeah.
Fighting in Miami, boom, another big thing for the UFC. You know, like that's huge. And there's all these venues and all these events that they're putting on this year that are just going to be crazy. So to say that, you know, UFC 300 isn't quite living up to, you know, Brock Lesnar headlining it or whatever, you know,
you just wait for 400.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Brock will be back. You just wait for 301, 302, 304, 3, 4, both. And they're going to be stacked too. You just know it. So just get over it, basically. You whinging?
Should we move on?
I started whinging in this one, and then I just, you know.
And then you just started agreeing with me?
Agreeing? Well, no.
Agreeing with the fact that UFC 300 is going to be pretty on point.
I never agree with you.
Look, something that we don't have in our notes, but I thought I'd just quickly ask you about. Did you see the Roadhouse trailer?
It looks shit.
It looks pretty weird.
Connor's just playing himself.
Exactly.
And he's not even doing it well.
No, he's not. Like, just, this is his acting debut, so you can't expect, like, too much from him, whatever. But I think it should be his last movie as well. Like,
it's going to be a cringy film.
Oh, it's going to be a very cringy film. And I think a reason that a lot of people are going to go and watch it is just because Connor's in it.
But the UFC fan base for sure, it's just gonna be like, oh my god, Connor's in a movie. Got to see it,
dude. I'm gonna be one of those people.
Point. Yeah,
I'm gonna be. Should we go see it together?
Yeah, let's do it. Should we do a live review of it?
Yeah, we should. We'll see. We'll see how we feel about it.
But yeah, that was very interesting. Connor, again, he's playing literally him, and he's not doing it well.
No, I wasn't convinced.
No, what's that bit when he's like, "Hey, fellas"?
Yeah.
And then he smashes
so
the table.
unsure of himself. Oh man.
Violent cokehead. I did see an interesting video about Connor breaking down what his actual issue is and why he's not fighting and why people aren't letting him fight. It was Lucas Tracy. He's great. I like him. And he was basically saying, look, the reason that Connor's probably not fighting is that he has a problem with recreational drugs. He's probably off the steroids now. He's been drug tested a couple times. But he's literally likely got a problem with alcohol and recreational drugs. And the people around him are like, you need to get clean before you fight. The UFC don't want him running amok at press conferences and, you know, in the build-up and then coming in to the fight having been, you know, on a bender or whatever, not in top form. And as well, like, his coaches, John Kavanagh, the people around him are probably like, I'm not putting you through a fight camp until you get clean, because this is a problem, you know? So I thought that was an interesting one because he's always talking about how he's being held out from his livelihood, although he's already got hundreds of millions of dollars. But, he's being held away from the fight game and he wants to fight. There's obviously a reason that people aren't letting him fight. And he's clean. He's been tested. So obviously that's not an issue now.
Steroids, yeah.
There was the last time that they stopped him from fighting was back when COVID was around and there was no one in the crowd. And they wanted him to fight in front of a crowd. So they were waiting for that to open back up. This time, I think it's got to be because of the drugs. The cocaine, whatever.
I can definitely see your argument there because, I mean, every week there's a new deleted
every time we
tweet,
see him.
Like just a weird little string of tweets that make no sense, calling out someone in a completely different weight class or a completely different organization, and then the next day you wake up and they're all gone.
Yeah, and just whenever anyone's got a camera on him nowadays, he's right up in their face, wide-eyed, like, yeah, just
walking around like this.
Like, don't get me wrong, Conor McGregor is a bad man. He's living his best life, doing fucking flexing with Rolexes, hanging out with Ronaldo and all the Saudi princes, doing whatever the fuck he wants. He literally is, right?
Do you know what he reminds me of though? Like, those like when chicks post on Instagram and you can tell that they're like fake, like laughing to like make it look like they're having a good time. There was this post that he put up of him with Jake Gyllenhaal in like some bar, and he's just like got his chest all the way puffed out, and he's just like laughing kind of thing at the camera. It's like, oh man, it's pretty cringy, but
I think he must have a drug problem.
Surely.
I mean, look at him. You saw him, their video of him with Ronaldo was the fucking
oh my god
tipping point. That was Ronaldo's just sat there. Ronaldo completely clean, never touched alcohol, never touched drugs. Body is in pristine condition at 38 years old because he invests millions of dollars in keeping it that way. Conor just there, face all bloated, red face, like massive pupils, screaming at the Saudi prince, like, yeah, me and money, yeah. And probably like stinky breath, like breathing all over Ronaldo. Ronaldo's just like.
And we've both been that like sober guy at a party who's kind of sitting there and just has to get through some story with some dude who's got who's 3 nose beers deep and just won't shut up about some time like something happened in high school and he has to tell you this yarn. You know what I mean?
And this is Conor McGregor who's been there, done that, did win 2 world champs.
Yeah.
Did fucking box Floyd Mayweather, has the yacht. Imagine what we've experienced. Turned up like 50 dials.
Yeah. The stories that this guy has that he probably shouldn't be sharing.
Yeah, honestly. Punching old men.
Oh, God.
Anyway. Jon Anik said he might retire sooner rather than later due to online hate that he's received, which is interesting. Apparently, Jon Anik, after claiming that he believes that Duplessis won the fight against Strickland, which is a perfectly reasonable argument for sure.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he literally did.
We saw it happen on the TV.
Exactly. We saw it happen. Apparently, he's received a massive barrage of hate. People saying that he doesn't know shit from the Strickland army, which is a bit of a thing now.
This sounds a bit like what we were talking about at the start of our video. About this guy coming after us.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what we're talking about.
That's just one guy.
I know, but it's,
I know, yeah. It rhymes.
In terms of ratio, it's probably similar.
Yeah, it's one guy compared to, his following. But, yeah, the Strickland army is a real thing. The Strickland bandwagoners. That guy is a superstar, and some of his fans are a little bit
well, they're a lot like
crazy.
him, aren't they? They talk
they try
before
to be
they
like
think.
Him. They're trying to emulate what he is.
Yeah, I think that's the problem a lot of the time as well. Is a lot of these. It happens in every sport though. Like a lot of lost souls. They get behind a sports person or whatever, and then they try and make that person their whole personality.
Yeah.
And the problem with doing that with Sean Strickland is you can get pretty lost in the sauce.
Yeah. 100%. And
next thing you know, you've got some pretty hot takes out there on your Twitter feed.
And it's hard to be. You can't emulate someone like that. Just like you can't emulate someone like Conor McGregor. These guys are completely unique and authentic. Don't try and emulate someone like that, and don't just follow them to the T. Like
And the other thing is
people need to learn a bit of logic and reasoning.
They've put in years and years of hard work to get to the position that they're in. And that's the thing that a lot of people nowadays are lacking. A lot of people nowadays just want, like, they see that and they want to just elevate straight to that level.
Yeah.
Because they don't see all of the, everything in between.
Mm.
So even someone like Jon Anik, do you know what I mean?
Mm. That guy grinded. He's been the play-by-play guy for 12 years now.
Yeah. Like,
pretty crazy.
I don't, it's a bit of a weird take, but more or less the more boring commentator, do you know what I mean? Like you've got DC and Joe Rogan sitting next to him at these big pay-per-view events. They're sitting there having fun and screaming and almost pushing each other off the desk and having these big moments. But yeah, Jon Anik is kind of he's like your dad sitting in the corner like, no, let's focus on this. Hey, get back on track here.
If there wasn't a Joe Anik, Rogan and DC would be nothing.
That's right.
Anik is the glue that holds it all together. This guy's a legend. At the same time, you're always going to get this hate online, no matter the sport, no matter the person. If you say someone won and there's a debate, people are going to... These fans are fickle, like we just said. They probably are kind of like... They don't have their own little personality or whatever. They're literally trying to emulate their biggest star. They idolize this guy. They will bat to the hell. They're probably like 13-year-old guys who get abused by their parents. I heard this somewhere else. And they've got no avatar on fucking Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh my God, Jon Anik said that Strickland didn't win. I'm going to call him the N-word or some shit, because they're idiots. Don't listen to them, John. Yeah. Just don't read the comments. Don't read them. Like, you're going to get this no matter what. You've got an opinion. And look, we might think that it's a debatable point whether Strickland did win or not. I think it was super close. It could have gone to either guy. But you're going to get these... If you said that Strickland won, you'll have South Africans coming at you saying, we're going to murder you.
We said in... I said in one of my videos, congratulations, DDP, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of days later, we were talking about the judging system and how, like, maybe that's a bit inadequate.
Could use some work.
And then we're being called haters for saying... like by all these South African people,
biggest hater or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like you can't win in this sport. No. Like there's always someone who is far too passionate about something that they're willing to take what you're saying out of context to make their guy that they, like you say, are emulating, like look so much bigger and better. But yeah, there's no winning. No. I don't want to see him retire.
No, neither.
I want to see him
there forever.
I want to see him grey and old like Bruce Buffer sitting at that desk, like
Rogan.
Yeah.
Rogan's what? Coming up 60? I think he's 56, 7.
Well, Jon Anik's got to be pushing somewhere around the same age, isn't he?
I'd say he's 45-ish.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Pull it up, Kobe.
Pull me up,
that's
Jamie.
Take my pants
surely
off, Jamie.
That's copyrighted.
He should. I think it is.
Really?
But we can say it. But it probably is copyrighted. I think Jamie's got a brand. Oh, look at how cute he is.
Anik. Oh, he's 45. No, he's got 45. It right on.
Yeah,
dang.
I'm pretty happy with that. But if he retires, his twin can step in.
He has a twin brother?
He does.
I didn't know that.
I'll show you. Maybe we've just enlightened some people as well.
His twin has hair.
His twin has hair.
God dang.
There he is.
Wowee.
So yeah. But Jon Anik, don't retire. Just don't turn off your comments, but don't read them.
Yeah, don't Ian Gary.
Don't go Ian Gary.
Don't go that low.
Never go Ian Gary.
Oh,
ever.
His comments are still turned off on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. It's pathetic.
It's so funny because I scrolled down to find the last post that the comments were turned on, and people were just commenting on that. Just hating on that post that he's still allowed the comments on.
Fucking hell.
Oh, it's so good, man. That is the harsh side of the MMA community. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
You've got all these testosterone-filled fools who, like, half the time are like us and have no idea what they're talking about and feel like their opinion is worth so much more than it actually is.
And but the thing is, right? We're out here on a podcast. We've got our faces on the screen. We're willing to take any backlash, whatever. Yeah. Most of these people are hiding behind a avatar photo so no one knows what they even look like. They're probably sub 14. Let's be real. they've got some issues going on at home, and they're taking out their issues on
online.
They've just decided that this is. Just fucking ignore it. They're idiots.
Yeah.
They're a fucking idiot. Anyone without a profile picture, just ignore them. They could even be a bot. This might be a bot that you're getting angry at.
Look,
And
and
that's
the other
even
thing
worse.
there is going to be, massive amounts of people that are on the other side of this, that are in the same boat as you and me right now, that are like huge supporters of Jon Anik and think that mostly everything that he says holds some weight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
the guy's a legend.
If this guy has an opinion on anything, I'm listening to it and I'm taking that on board. I'm taking on board his opinion because I value his opinion, because I know how experienced and how long he's been around in the sport and what that means.
The GOAT, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are so many people that come in and out of the space because they make a mistake or they just talk some random shit that makes no sense. But he has been there since day dot almost. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me, but.
No, I agree. Yeah, stop listening to them, John. They're not worth it. They're not worth your time. You're a fucking legend. These guys are not. So just ignore the hate, man. Stay at it. We don't want to see you leave, buddy.
Or we could see Jon Anik versus one of his haters on UFC 300. Maybe that's the main event that we've been waiting for.
It could. Oh my god, Jon Anik versus Bruce Buffer. I heard Bruce Buffer's been talking some shit, John.
Yeah, Bruce Buffer's a big Sean Strickland fan.
Yeah, apparently Bruce Buffer's a bad man as well. He can fight. Apparently he got in a brawl with someone. I can't remember.
Elevator, wasn't it?
Yeah, an elevator, and apparently he won. And it was a UFC fighter. Well, maybe he didn't win, but he got his shit in. This is a true story that literally, this is a UFC like history. Honestly, think that's about it for this week. Unless you want to keep rambling on random shit. Anything else?
Have we spoken about
Buddy boy?
Miocic turning down the fight against...
oh, yeah. Well, we did. Kind of.
We brushed over Tom Aspinall's comments, and then we said we'd get into it later. And so far...
True. We haven't.
Yeah.
Miocic apparently has turned down Tom Aspinall. Should we go through the timeline of this?
Yeah, so Tom Aspinall got a call from his manager, who had been in contact with the matchmakers over at the UFC, and they had offered him a fight against Stipe, which seems weird considering they hadn't confirmed it yet with the other side, but I guess you got to start somewhere. Tom's manager instantly accepted the fight because he knows, well, as all of us know now, Tom wants to fight, and he wants to fight either Miocic or Jones because, you know, both of these guys are kind of holding up the top of the division. And then he got a call back a couple days later saying that Miocic has turned down the fight and he only wants to fight Jon Jones, which, to be honest, it makes sense.
He was promised the fight.
Yeah, he was promised the fight. It's obviously going to be a much bigger money draw for him.
It's a legacy fight.
It's a legacy fight. It's the heavyweight GOAT versus the GOAT.
Plus, he probably only has one fight left.
Yeah, that's like, if he wasn't fighting Jon Jones, I honestly think he would have retired.
Yeah, no, same. I don't like, because Miocic he's done it all. Yes, if he wanted to win that belt one more time, you know, if Jones hadn't moved up and won the belt, maybe he would have fought Aspinall. You know, if Aspinall had maybe won it.
I don't even think he would have done that, man.
Don't know.
Like,
maybe not.
It seems like he has been waiting in the wings for maybe for some time. It was another shot at Ngannou. Now that Ngannou's gone, next best thing.
I think he was injured for a while as well.
Bigger thing, Jon Jones. But yeah, this guy's in his 40s now.
Yeah,
he's
42.
answered all the questions that you need to as an MMA fighter. He has one of the most impressive reigns as a heavyweight champion. Well, he has arguably the most impressive reign as a heavyweight champion. So
he is the man.
Yeah, it's.
I can fully understand it.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall also can fully understand it. Tom did say, "Look, I accepted the fight. Thought it might have happened, but obviously Stipe doesn't want it. I'm moving on. I'll just wait for the winner, and then I as long as I get the winner, I'm happy." Which is cool. Fair play to Tom. He's a class act. And if I'm Jon Jones or Miocic, I'm not looking forward to that Tom Aspinall fight. I'm not looking forward to fighting. Well, they're fighters, so they probably have a different mindset to me. But remember, I am a 47-time world champ
Yeah.
in something.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Watch out.
Watch out,
Things
mate.
to watch. Mogu Mogu.
Mogu. It's all right. Not going top of my list.
Look, we got the black currant flavored drink. No, I realized they had a few yellow and orangey flavors, but if you look up on our wall here, we've had a few orange and yellowy flavors to review thus far.
Correct.
However, only one blue drink.
Well.
And the blue Boss coffee, yeah.
I suppose this is great. So that's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's it's on the same kind of wavelength. Look, chewy drinks, they don't belong in this world. You get a drink, it should be a
liquid,
a smooth liquid consistency. There's half a meal in here. Okay?
Yeah.
I look.
Have you been eating the bits?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. They're not the worst bits.
I've actually been spitting them onto the floor over here.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The camera would have got that.
Yeah.
I don't think these aren't as bad as boba. Like, I can eat these and still be happy with myself, but the boba ones, like, they stick to your gums and they're kind of rank.
Yeah.
The bits in this shit is okay. The drink itself is good.
Yeah, I like the drink
Yeah,
on its
it
own.
tastes nice. But the bits.
God damn. 38 grams of sugar
In this small little thing.
in a 320 ml bottle.
Pretty crazy.
That's outrageous.
Where are we putting this on the list, though? That's the real question. It's not going top. I'm saying
It's
that
not.
now.
But look, I do think
We've got to give it some credit.
we do. It's a tasty little treat.
I think I know where I want to put it.
I want to put it above the Chubba Chub grape.
See, I was thinking that too. But then I was also thinking that I enjoyed that. I'm saying either here, or here. And so I'm willing to go here.
Therefore, I think we put it below the Chubba Chub grape and above the blue lemon Calypso
Sounds good.
due to average
Consensus.
yes.
Mogu
That's the
Mogu,
word.
give it a go. They sponsor us, so there'll be links in the description for that. No, they won't. We don't have any sponsors. No one gives a fuck.
But yeah, I think we've dropped the alcoholic segment. We will be continuing on our drink reviews. However, they will just be quirky, wacky, little weird drinks. We have got another suggestion that I need to talk to you about, which is probably going to take a bit more hunting down. Thank you, Tommy. All right, we haven't forgotten about your suggestion. It's just I haven't managed to get into an Asian mart as of yet. Yeah, in recent times. But I think I'm pretty happy to leave it there.
Yeah, I think considering there hasn't really been much news, this has been a pretty decent show.
Yeah, there's 53 minutes of waffle for you.
Got some waffle, some cum, and some piss. So, hope you
All of
guys
the
have a great
above.
weekend. To all our fans out there, we appreciate you very much. 127 subscribers and counting. And yeah, have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, comment, share us around. Any final words from you, Jackson?
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Those are final words, aren't they?